There were 3 people stranded on an island, a brunette, a redhead, and a blonde. The brunette looked over the water to the mainland and estimated about 20 miles to shore. So she announced, "I'm going to try to swim to shore." So she swam out 5 miles, and got really tired. She swam out 10 miles from the island, and she was too tired to go on, so she drowned. The second one, the redhead, said to herself, "I wonder if she made it. I guess it's better to try to get to the mainland than stay here and starve." So she attempts to swim out. The redhead had a lot more endurance than the brunette, as she swam out 10 miles before she even got tired. After 15 miles, she was too tired to go on, so she drowned. So the blonde thought to herself, "I wonder if they made it. I think I'd better try to make it, too." So she swam out 5 miles, 10 miles, 15 miles, and finally 19 miles from the island. The shore was just in sight, but she said, "I'm too tired to go on." So she swam back. Little Johnny approaches his mother one day with a request that warms her heart. "Mom, can I have 50 cents?" asks little Johnny. His mother asks, "Why do you need 50 cents, dear?" Johnny explains, "I want to give it to an old lady that I saw in the park today." His mother is moved by her son's thoughtfulness and generosity. She quickly reaches into her purse and hands him the 50 cents, feeling proud of her son's kind gesture. As she gives him the coins, his mother says, "Here you go, darling. I'm curious, can't the poor old lady work anymore?" Little Johnny takes the money with a bright smile and replies, "Oh, she can work all right. She sells candy in the park." Billy Ray lines up his young sons and stands before them. With a stern look on his face, he asks, "All right, which one of y'all pushed the outhouse over the cliff?" Nobody answers. The boys just look around at each other, shuffling their feet and avoiding their father's gaze. He then asks again, a bit louder this time, "I said, who pushed the outhouse over the cliff?" Still, not a peep from the boys. Billy Ray sighs and decides to try a different approach. "Let me tell y'all a story," he says. "It's about George Washington and his daddy." George chopped down a cherry tree, and when his daddy asked him about it, George told the truth. Because George told the truth, his daddy didn't punish him. Then he looks at his boys meaningfully and says, "So, I'm gonna ask again. Who pushed the outhouse over the cliff?" Finally, the youngest son, barely able to meet his father's eyes, raises his hand and says, "I pushed the outhouse over the cliff." Billy Ray, his face red with anger, says, "Okay, then, you can clean the stalls while the rest of us go fishing." Sniffling and wiping his eyes, the boy asks, "But Pa, when George Washington told the truth, he didn't get punished. Why did I get punished when I told the truth?" Ray shakes his head, takes a deep breath and replies, "Because when George Washington chopped down the cherry tree, his daddy wasn't in it." 2 cows, Daisy and Bessie, are enjoying a lazy afternoon nibbling on the lush grass on opposite sides of the fence separating their fields. Amidst the tranquility, Daisy's brows furrow with concern as she broaches a rather weighty topic. "You know, Bessie, I couldn't help but overhear Farmer John mentioning something about this mad cow disease. Seems like it's spreading faster than gossip in a henhouse," Daisy muses, her voice tinged with worry. "I even heard it's already made its way to the Johnson farm. Dreadful, isn't it?" Bessie, the other cow, pauses mid-chew, and replies, "Oh, Daisy, don't let your spots get all in a twist. We don't need to worry about that." "What do you mean, we don't need to worry about it?" asks Daisy. "Of course we do." "Don't be silly," replies Bessie. "Helicopters can't catch it." A group of guys were chatting with a good-looking blonde and, somewhat improbable, asked her to climb this pole that was conveniently nearby. For whatever reason, she decided to do it. When she told her mother what happened, her mother scolded her, "Don't you understand that they only wanted to see your underwear?" The girl was understandably upset at being very sweet and naive, and decided to show those boys a thing or two. The next day, they repeated their request, and when she came home she was beaming. "What are you so happy about?" asked her mother. "I totally showed them. Today I didn't even wear underwear." A cop saw a young blonde woman down on her knees under a streetlight. "Can I help you?" he asked. Replied the woman. "I dropped my diamond ring and I'm looking for it." Asked the cop, "Did you drop it right here?" "No," responded the blonde, "I dropped it about a block away, but the light's better here." An elderly retired Marine fighter pilot, known for his adventurous spirit and captivating charm, decided to move into a lively retirement community. This particular community was renowned for its vibrant social life and the fact that good-looking, eligible men were in high demand. The old pilot, with his rugged good looks and fascinating stories of aerial combat, quickly caught the eye of many women residents. After settling in and enjoying the attention for about a week, the pilot began to feel guilty about his newfound popularity and the events of the past few days. So, with a heavy heart, he decided to go to confession to seek some solace and guidance. Approaching the confessional booth, he took a deep breath and started his confession. "Bless me, Father, for I have sinned," he said with a hint of remorse in his voice. "Last week, I was with 7 different women." The priest, an experienced and wise man, listened carefully to the pilot's admission. After a moment of contemplation, he responded, "Take 7 lemons, squeeze them into a glass, and drink the juice without pausing." The pilot, somewhat puzzled by this unusual penance, asked, "Will that cleanse me of my sins, Father?" The priest shook his head and replied, "No. But it will wipe that eating grin off your face." Married 25 years, I took a look at my wife one day and said, "Honey, 25 years ago, we had a cheap apartment, a cheap car, slept on a sofa bed and watched a 10-inch black and white TV, but I got to sleep every night with a hot 25-year-old blonde. Now, we have a nice house, nice car, big bed and plasma screen TV, but I'm sleeping with a 50-year-old woman. It seems to me that you are not holding up your side of things. My wife is a very reasonable woman. She told me to go out and find a hot 25-year-old blonde, and she would make sure that I would once again be living in a cheap apartment, driving a cheap car, sleeping on a sofa bed." The sales chief, the HR chief, and the boss are on their way to lunch around the corner. They detour through an alley and stumble on a beat-up but valuable-looking brass container. The sales chief picks it up and starts cleaning it with his handkerchief. Suddenly, a genie emerges out of a curtain of purple smoke. The genie is grateful to be set free and offers them each a wish. The HR chief is wide-eyed and ecstatic. She says, "I want to be living on a beautiful beach in Jamaica with a sailboat and enough money to make me happy for the rest of my life." Poof. She disappears. The sales chief says, "Wow. I want to be happily married to a wealthy supermodel with penthouses in New York, Paris, and Hong Kong." Presto, he vanishes. "And how about you?" asks the genie, looking at the boss. The boss scowls and says, "I want both those idiots back in the office by 2 p.m. Always let your boss speak first." One day a fellow came into the bar with a cat, not just any cat, but a mean-looking Ginger Tom. You could see the scars from across the room. But that wasn't the weirdest thing. A 6-foot ostrich, eyes like golf LLS, followed them in, a real live ostrich. I asked the man what he wanted. "I'll have a pint of bitter," he said. "A pint of lager for the ostrich and a gin and tonic for the cat." The cat hissed at him. "Make that a double gin and tonic." "Thanks." Well, I served the drinks, he paid, and they all knocked me back. Wasn't long before the ostrich came back to the bar, and made it clear that it wanted the same again. Well, I poured them. I could feel the cat's eyes burning through me as if he was checking that he got his double again. I took the drinks over to them, and the man paid, taking the cash from a purse tied around the ostrich's neck. This went on for a couple of hours. The man and the ostrich were buying alternate rounds, while the cat just sat on the window shelf with his drink, looking fit to kill. The whole place got quiet. People sat and stared, and who could blame them? Eventually, I plucked up the courage to ask the fellow just what was going on. "Can't a man have a quiet drink anymore?" he rasped. So I said, "No harm meant, but you've got to admit that you're a unique set of drinkers." He smiled, but there was no light in that smile. "Okay, you want to know? I'll tell you. I was across town the other week, working on the new road. Amid the dirt and the rubble, I turned up this old brass lamp. I rubbed it, thinking there might be a date or inscription or something. Anyway, out of this cloud of smoke a genie appeared. You know, turban, scimitar, and the whole works. And he tells me I've got just one wish. And before you ask, yes, I did wish for a long-legged bird. But this wasn't what I had in mind." Hey there, I put a lot of effort into making these videos, so please subscribe for more jokes and stay happy, thank you.